Welcome to the Quickstart program, Routine 4. Routine 4 is pretty straightforward, starting with slow burpees for 5 reps, stationary marching, which you'll see in the video for 10 and 10, the adductor stretch, or the inner thigh stretch, for 10 each side, and then reverse lunges for 10 each side. Starting with the slow burpee in 3, 2, 1, go. Sink down into your hips, crawl forward on the floor, keep that plank position, sink back into the hips and stand nice and tall. Feel free to readjust your stance. If you're having a hard time keeping your feet planted during the standing position, this is just like our squats, being very mindful of our posture, our core, the position of our feet. We're sinking down. And then as we push the floor away, we sink back into the hips for that slow burpee. Nice and controlled. Great movement for 5 reps. Excellent. Moving on, stationary marches. 10 each side. You see opposite, opposite. Driving up the knee, reaching back with the opposite arm. Very basic, but very beneficial for our brains. This is a locomotion drill. Great coordination, keeps the body and the mind sharp. 10 and 10. Now the adductor stretch, the first variation. Taking it easy, stretching out the inner thigh. We're doing 10 each side. In the next round, I'm going to show you a harder variation. And then in the final round, I'll show you an even more challenging variation. You got it. Get accustomed to those inner thighs and stretch them out. Good little lateral movement. This is great for your knee and your ankle as well. 10 and 10. And finally, the reverse lunge. As you see, I'm barely bending my extended knee. In this variation, I'm just focusing on the hip. You can use whatever range of motion makes the most sense for you. 10 and 10. Okay, we're doing 10 repetitions each side here. And in the next round, I'm going to show you a slightly more challenging variation where we descend a bit lower. 10 and 10, take a break. Okay, and we're resting about 45 seconds to a minute. You could rest a little bit less or a little bit longer if you need to. Pause the video right now and count that out. 3, 2, 1, slow burpee, crawl out, modified push-up from the knees. We're doing 5 repetitions like this. Slow burpee, crawl out, push up from the knees, sink back into the hips, stand tall. 3 more. Excellent. You can see in the next 2 reps, I start blending the knee push-up and a full push-up. Bit of a hybrid variation for you. 5 repetitions like this. Last one. Stand nice and tall. Excellent. Stationary marches, a little bit of a skip this time, a little bit more intense. Opposite, opposite. Tall posture, core nice and tight, driving up the knee, reaching back with the opposite shoulder. Doing great. 10 and 10. Very good. Into this adductor stretch. Nice wide stance. Hinge back. Get that elbow to the inside of the knee. Reach for the floor. Don't move into any pain. We're doing 10 and 10 each side. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from the side here. Hinging back, reaching down, stretching out that inner thigh. Tremendous exercise for your knee stability, your ankles, and your hips and low back. Finally, finishing with the reverse lunge for 10 and 10. That back knee just kisses the floor in this variation. A little bit more range of motion, a little bit more control. Driving down with that front foot stays planted. 10 each side. We're coming down to the end of the round here. Take an adequate break. Okay, and we're resting about 45 seconds to a minute. You could rest a little bit less or a little bit longer if you need to. Pause the video right now and count that out. Starting with our slow burpee, 3, 2, 1, sink down. Keep your core tight, crawl out, perform your push-up, sink back into the hips, and stand tall for 5 repetitions. You'll notice in this round, I'm performing the full push-up. This is very appropriate for me. I've been doing push-ups all my life. If you need to, perform the push-up from the knees or simply hold the tall plank. It's about working with your current fitness level. Very good. One more repetition here for 5. And we're moving on into that stationary march. If you're comfortable doing the dynamic version, do so. Tall spine, core tight, driving up the one knee, reaching with the opposite arm. This should mimic a regular gait pattern, 10 and 10, just like the other round. Excellent work. Moving on into the adductor stretch. This time we're performing a lunge. This is also going to get the heart rate a little bit higher. Make sure the elbow reaches to the inside of the knee and touch the floor if you can. We're hinging back with the hips, lunging to the side, a tremendous coordination drill. Tremendous for your core strength and your knee and ankle stability. Very good. Finishing with the reverse lunge. This time, if you're comfortable with it, add a knee drive. A little bit of extra balance work. A little bit of extra coordination and core strength. We're doing 10 each side. That back knee just kisses the floor, and then we drive up that same knee. If this wasn't challenging enough for you, rest 45 seconds to a minute and perform one more round like this. Good work.